The additive identity is anything added to itself will be itself. Anything added to the additive identity will be itself. So let me give you an example. 5 plus 0 is 5, right? 7 plus 0 is 7. Negative 101 plus 0 is negative 100. So the additive identity is is 0. Sorry. So because anything added to 0 is itself. That's the additive identity. The additive inverse is anything that when you add it up will give you 0. All right. So the additive inverse. So for example, if I take 5 and I add negative 5 to it, I'm going to get 0. If I take 7 and I add negative 7 to it, I'm going to get 0. If I take negative 101 and I add positive 101, I get 0. So all these right here are additive inverse for the other numbers, right? So the additive inverse of 5 is negative 5. The additive inverse of 7 is negative 7. The additive inverse of negative 101 is 101. And do you see the pattern? You just flip the sign. So when we have a problem like this, where we have to find out what the what the number is using the additive inverse, all we have to do first is we have to say that okay, you know this x, I'm not touching this x and the sign next to it until I take care of what's outside the sign, right? So what I look at this positive 5, and it's positive because there's no negative over here. And I say, what is the additive inverse of positive 5? Well, we know because we did it, it's negative 5. And whatever I do on this side, and usually I have students draw like this dotted line through the equal sign, I have to do on the other side. So whatever happens here will have to happen here. All right. So 5 and negative 5 cancel. I bring down my x. This is called, what we're doing right now is simplifying. I bring down my equal sign, and I do negative 18 minus 5. And just take out the calculator and do it, right? And you will get negative 23. So x equals negative 20. Now, are we done? No, we have to do what we call a check. So for a check, what we have to do is we have to plug in this number back into our original equation. So we have 5 plus x equals negative 18, and we found out that x equals negative 23. So to do the check, we just have to write 5 plus parentheses negative 23. We're just plugging this back in, equals negative 18. And that equals negative 18, which equals negative 18. So this checks out. And you might want to write check, underneath to show that this is your check. And that is how we use the additive inverse. Now, what happens if we flip things around a little bit? We do the same thing, we just do it on the opposite side. So again, I look at x and what's in front of it, right? And I don't touch it. And then I look outside, and that's what I'm going to do the additive inverse. So the opposite of minus 7 is plus 7. And whatever happens on one side, I do on the other, right? This cancels out. I'm left with x equals negative 21 plus 7 is, put in my calculator. And even Mr. Posher has no shame using a calculator. Negative 14. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my check. And I'm going to write negative 21 equals negative 14 minus 7. And I got negative 21 equals negative. And do the check, like actually check to see if it equals negative 21. And if it does, that's great. So remember, some key takeaways. The additive identity is 0. The additive inverse, we flip the sign. Whatever we do to one side, we do to the other. And always please check.